When I found out my devoted wife was finally pregnant, I thought she'd be overjoyed to tears. Instead, she just looked a bit guilty and said, "Sorry, Alex, I'm not ready to be a mom yet. Can we wait a few years before having kids?" Though it broke my heart, I respected her choice and we let the baby go. But 5 years later, I accidentally spotted my wife holding another man's hand, picking up a little girl from kindergarten. She smiled, scooped up the girl, and said, "Happy 5th birthday, sweetie. Mom's giving you the spot as the company's heir as your present. Okay?" Watching their family of 3 walk away, I felt like I'd fallen into an icy pit. Turns out, she wasn't unprepared to be a mom. She just didn't want a kid with me. That evening, my wife Emily came home. Seeing my puffy, red eyes, she didn't even kick off her shoes before rushing over, pulling me into a hug, her voice full of concern. "What's wrong? Who hurt my Alex? Tell me, and I'll handle it." My barely settled emotions flared up again at her words, so I turned away without a word. Everyone in our circle knew Emily Carter, CEO of Carter Enterprises, was hopelessly devoted to her husband. Right after we married, she replaced all her male secretaries and assistants with women, always video called to check in during business dinners, and even cut off a longtime friend who tried setting her up with a young guy. Emily's love for me was obvious. Seeing me upset, Emily frowned, grabbed my hand, and soothed, "Alex, what's really going on? Tell me, please. Seeing you like this breaks my heart." Meeting her worried eyes, the accusation stuck in my throat. In the end, I just shook my head and said slowly, "Nothing, just watched a tragic movie today and can't shake it off." Emily visibly relaxed, playfully tapping my nose. "You scare me half to death. Haven't eaten dinner yet? I'll cook for you myself tonight. How's that?" I nodded faintly, letting her carry me to the dining table. I watched her tie on an apron, heat the pan, and start cooking, but my mind kept replaying the afternoon scene. Emily lifting the girl, smiling, "Happy 5th birthday, sweetie. Mom's giving you the company's sole heir position as your gift, okay?" 5 years old. If our child had lived, they'd be 5 now too, right? Bitterness welled up in me, and the next second, her phone rang from the kitchen. Emily answered, her tone unusually stern. "Didn't I say no calls after work?" Through the glass, I clearly heard the man's voice on the other end. "Sorry, Emily, I know I shouldn't bother you and your husband now, but Lily's throwing a fit, wanting Mom for her birthday cake and candles. She's crying nonstop, so I had to call. I know your husband's important to you, but you've never spent a birthday with her. Could you?" I didn't hear the rest before Emily hung up, turned off the stove, and came out, full of apologies. "Sorry, Alex. Emergency at work. I have to go." My heart chilled, my throat tight. After a long pause, I asked, "Do you have to?" "Yeah." She grabbed her jacket, hurried into her shoes, and before leaving added, "Grab something to tide you over. I'll be back soon and finish cooking." Hearing her footsteps fade, I sat stunned in the chair, staring at the empty house, mocking myself with a bitter laugh at her seamless lie. I don't know how long passed before her text came. "Alex, work's trickier than expected. Might not make it home tonight. Don't wait up. I ordered your favor from that restaurant. Eat and get some rest." I stared at the message over and over, struggling to breathe. Emily had left me to be with another man and his kid. The woman who loved me so much had cheated, built another family behind my back. My heart twisted like a knife, hands shaking as I called my dad. "Dad, I'll take the job at the German branch." Dad never approved of me quitting work after marriage, suggesting multiple times I manage the German office. But back then, lost in Emily's love illusion, thinking our happiness would last forever, I didn't want to leave her and refused without a thought. Who knew after just 5 years of marriage, it all shattered? "Fine, Emily, I don't want you anymore." After my words, Dad paused, then hesitantly said, "Weren't you and Emily planning to try for kids in a couple years, with you staying home as a house husband?" And with her temper, even haggling at a flea market booth makes her snap and fight. Could she really let her little prince face the world and suffer? Hearing Dad's confusion, I mocked myself with a laugh. Yeah, everyone knew I was Emily's cherished prince, too precious for any hardship or outside work. As for what Dad mentioned, that was 2 years ago. After losing the baby and with no job, to shift my mood, I picked up my old design hobby, sewing little toys and selling them at night markets. To not worry Emily, I never told her, just said I was out for walks. The lively markets added some normalcy to my life. Until one night, a guy haggled by nitpicking my handmade plushies. Loose threads here, rough work there. It all got overheard by Emily passing by. Risking her public image, she slapped him without a word, leading to a full brawl that ended at the police station. She paid a hefty settlement to settle it, all because Emily couldn't stand my efforts being trashed, couldn't bear me facing any slight. After that, we made a pact. I'd stop vending outside, and she'd curb her temper. No more fights. But this woman who cared for me to her core ended up cheating, letting another man's kid inherit her hard-earned company. Snapping back, I shook my head, pushing memories aside, and said solemnly, "Dad, no more kids, no more marriage." I quietly lowered the call volume. After all, I was the one who ignored family objections to return home and be with Emily, the one who quit to be a homemaker. I thought Dad would explode at me for impulsiveness or mock my foolishness for ditching everything again. But he just sighed knowingly. "Good, you figured it out. You're young. Even detours leave room for turns. I'll set up your position. Pack up, get to Germany, and call me. I'll pick you up." Soon, Dad transferred 10 grand for travel, chatted a bit, then hung up. Glancing at the bank alert, I checked the time. It was 1 a.m. Emily still wasn't back. No message, no call. This was the third time this month she'd forgotten to update me. Before marriage, knowing my claustrophobia and fear of being alone, Emily swore no matter what, she'd always be home before midnight, never leaving me in an empty house. For years, she kept it, no exceptions. As CEO, she even mandated all client dinners end by 10 p.m. Once, a bigwig from out of state, tipsy, offered a 30% discount on a contract if she'd party till late. Facing millions in profits, Emily refused flat out, saying she had to get home to her husband. The guy, embarrassed, threatened to cancel deals, but Emily drove off without looking back. That period, Carter Enterprises faced massive smear campaigns, sales dropping 40%. A reporter asked if she regretted playing diva. Emily just smiled. "Even if the sky falls, nothing's more important than being with my husband." Back then, I thought I was the luckiest guy, marrying my dream girl. But reality proved women's promises are fragile bubbles. They don't withstand time or temptations. Pop and gone. Until spotting her with that man today, I consoled myself that Emily was just swamped at work, forgetting accidentally. But now, it was clear, she wasn't busy with work, forgetting to come home on time. She was just on schedule for her other home. Thinking this, I stopped waiting, went to the bedroom, and for the first time, slept alone. As expected, waking up, the pillow beside me was empty. Emily hadn't come home all night. Maybe too heartbroken, I didn't even feel angry, just silently headed to the immigration office for a visa. It'd take 5 days, so remembering Germany's weather, I went to the nearby mall for clothes. But stepping on the escalator, I froze, staring at the kids' section on the second floor. There, Emily was kneeling, trying shoes on a little girl with a man from yesterday's kindergarten beside her. Our eyes met, and Emily's gaze panicked, her hand freezing midair. But in seconds, she composed herself, stood, and approached with her usual warmth. "Alex, what a coincidence, shopping too." She stepped aside, pointing to the man. "This is my secretary, Ryan. I'm helping him pick gifts for a client." Following her gesture, he was a guy in his early 20s, with some cosmetic tweaks, in great shape. Hard to believe he was a 5-year-old's dad. I chuckled lightly. I didn't know when you switch back to male secretaries. Emily's face stiffened instantly. She remembered, years ago, for my security, she fired her experienced male secretary, hiring only women, banning solo male reports in her office. But now, she was openly out with another man, even kneeling to shoe his kid. Compared to Emily's unease, Ryan smiled, extending his hand. "Nice to meet you, sir. I hear about you from Ms. Carter often. I'm new at the company. She knows I'm a single dad struggling in the city, so she promoted me to secretary for better pay to support my kid. I'm grateful to her and the company. I'll work hard to repay it." Raised to value manners by Dad, this time I didn't shake, just eyed the wedding ring on his finger, identical to mine, finding it laughable. For our wedding, Emily commissioned a world-famous designer for unique rings. She told me passionately that one-of-a-kind love deserved one-of-a-kind rings for me. Turns out, it wasn't unique anymore. Her side wasn't just me. I looked away, ready to leave. Next second, the girl rushed to Emily's leg, sweetly calling Mommy. My heart trembled. Ryan chimed in, "Lily, Daddy said not to call others Mommy. Call her Aunt Emily." He emphasized Aunt Emily, clearly reminding something. Lily glared at me resentfully, reluctantly switching, "Aunt Emily." Then she whined, "Aunt Emily, the prize for that family game is a strawberry bear. Lily wants it. Can you join Daddy and me?" Just then, some acquaintances from our circle who knew us passed by, chuckling, "Poor kid's gonna be disappointed. Everyone knows Ms. Carter's crazy about her husband. No way she'd join another guy and his kid for a family game." The voice wasn't loud, but we all heard. Ryan, holding Lily's hand, looked at me apologetically. Sorry, Mr. Harper. Lily's never had a mom at school events. Gets teased, so she's bold enough to ask Miss Carter. Hope you don't mind. Hearing this, I glanced at Emily, seeing guilt flash in her eyes. After a moment, she placated me. Kids have simple wishes. I'll play along. You're kind-hearted. Alex, you get it, right? Without waiting for my reply, she scooped up Lily effortlessly, forcing a smile. Let's go win that strawberry bear. Ryan followed, shooting me a meaningful look. The three walked off chatting and laughing, looking every bit the perfect family. Our friends nearby paused, then awkwardly left. But I noticed their glances at me shift from envy to pity and mockery. I knew, from this moment on, Emily loving me more than her life had become the biggest joke in our circle. I bit down hard, my heart ripping apart, pain shaking my whole body. It took forever to calm. Pick a few windbreakers for Germany. It's near colder zones, weather turning cool. Heading back, Emily caught up from somewhere, eyeing my bags curiously. It's still summer. Why all these cold weather coats? But I didn't answer, not even a glance. Seeing my face, she explained instinctively. Ryan's a single dad, tough, raising a kid alone. As his boss, I help out. Higher secretary pay lets him afford better care. If it bothers you, Alex, I'll reassign him right away. Still no response from me. I stared out the window at passing streets, suddenly asking, Emily, remember your wedding vows? You swore you'd never lie to me, or you'd end up alone and miserable. Guilt flickered on Emily's face, but she grabbed my hand, affectionate, of course. Don't worry, Alex. I've always kept my word, right? Seeing her lie without blinking, I lost interest, pulled away, and closed my eyes. I'm tired. Tired of playing this loving charade with you. Misreading it as shopping fatigue, Emily hailed a cab. I've got work stuff. Head home and rest. But after the door closed, I didn't go home. I redirected to a nearby law firm. Long time no see, Attorney King. Draft me a divorce agreement. King was a top divorce lawyer, old friend. After briefing him, he stared, then adjusted his glasses. Okay, but no job post-marriage means you might lose out on assets. But I didn't care. Her stuff? I didn't need or want it. King was efficient. Within an hour, he sent the draft. But I didn't confront Emily yet, instead to the bank. 5 years ago, maybe guilty for making me skip fatherhood, she suggested a joint education fund for our future kid, vowing top resources. We each put in $3 million. Since splitting, I'd reclaim mine. But the teller hit me with a bombshell. Sorry, Mr. Harper. Sure no other accounts? Confused. Just this one. 5 years ago, Emily and I set it up. Refund my $3 million. Hearing Emily, the teller hesitated, finally saying, Mr. Harper, I can't. I frown. Why? My money. Can't withdraw? You're bullying customers. As I reached for my phone to call cops, she explained, misunderstanding. Your funds are yours, but the account shows only 80 cents left. Over 5 years, Ms. Carter withdrew the $6 million plus interest for preschool, tutoring, etc. As her husband and the kid's dad, you didn't know? Stunned, disbelieving, she printed the full statements. All to Emily's personal account. But our kid was gone. Clearly, she'd spent on her secretary Ryan and his kid Lily. The 80 cents mocked my naivety. I looked at my wedding ring, feeling ironic. If she didn't care about our home, why keep this? Leaving the bank, I went next door to a pawn shop to sell the ring. But the owner scanned it, scowled, and pushed it back. Kid, young and scamming with fakes? Annoyed. Owner, lowballing has limits. This ring, from design to materials, I sourced myself, commissioned a top global master. How could it be fake? But he slapped a report in my face. See for yourself. Your custom materials? Kid looks honest, but full of lies. Not diamond purity. It's polished quartz. Worth less than $10. Keep pushing, I'll call cops. The report showed. Not diamond, but quartz, like cheap crystal bracelets from stalls. But I oversaw every step, wore it nonstop. How to turn fake. Then my eyes widened. A year ago, Emily, usually indifferent to jewelry, suggested maintenance. Polish and buff our rings. Keep them flawless like our love. No scratches. Deep in her affection, I agreed, handed it over. What should have taken hours took 3 days. I didn't mind, assuming the shop was busy. Now, wondering why Ryan had an identical ring, it hit. Those days she had a fake duplicated. She could have given me the real one, fobbed the fake on Ryan. But she gave the cheap knockoff to me. Probably thought I was too gullible. A mocking laugh escaped me. So, her heart shifted back then. My total trust became her ammo to hurt and deceive me. If even our wedding rings, symbols of vows and love, were fake, what else around me was real? Nausea hit. I leaned on the wall, vomiting hard. Emily, how could your heart be so cruel? Eventually, I cabbed home. From afar, I smelled earthy fruit scent. It was my little garden I'd tended idly these years. Veggies like tomatoes and a grapevine Emily planted for me. Summers, I'd pick the sweetest bunch to share with her in the yard, under evening breeze, hearing her vent about weird clients. Grapes should be ripe now. This time, no waiting for Emily, no sharing. Starve all day, I wanted a few to snack. But reaching the yard, I stopped, shocked at the devastation. My carefully nurtured garden was trashed. Carrots snapped, lettuce stomped into mud, like a wild boar rampaged through. Farther, the once lush grapevine was yanked apart, grapes squashed on ground, swarming bugs. Thought it was a burglar, but on the pear tree's back, shovel scratches read, Lily was here. Ryan's kid. My gut tightened. From Emily ignoring my feelings at the mall to join the kids' game, I knew she felt deeply for her. But not that she'd brazenly let the kid into our home, wreck my garden. Snapping carrots, yanking vines, squashing tomatoes. The kid might be young, unaware. But Ryan, her dad, knew better, even let her carve her name. Pure provocation. Furious, I snapped photos of the crime scene and sent them to Emily. Almost instantly, my phone rang her. Alex, I was in a meeting about to tell you. Property management called about neighborhood kids climbing fences and causing trouble. I know you're upset about the garden. I airship premium grapes arriving tonight. Eat those, and I'll have someone build you a bigger one, okay? In a meeting? I sneered. Probably meeting Ryan and Lily. Her eyes only for them, missing Lily's name under the tree, thinking I knew nothing. I curled my lip, cold. I don't need grapes or a new garden. I want to call the cops, make the vandal pay. Silence on the line. Clearly, she didn't expect easygoing me, who hated nitpicking, to stand firm. After a bit, she said, Alex, don't be rash. You're still mad. But they're just kids, too young for cops to ruin their lives over this. How about? I cut her off with a cold laugh. So to you, it's just a little thing? That's 5 years of my effort. Every veggie, every vine, my heart. Or is the culprit's future more important? Emily realized her slip, rushing, Alex, I'm bad with words. That's not what I... But I hung up, blocked her. Staring at the mess, I felt exhausted. Old Emily was blunt, bad at lying, offending people with her directness. But I loved her pure honesty. That raw sincerity beat sweet talk for security. Years passed. Her EQ rose. She navigated social graces, lied smoothly without blushing. The sunny, straightforward girl had rotted away. Appetite gone. I packed luggage. Emotional roller coaster drained me. I crashed on the bed. Next day, waking, I grabbed the printed agreement to confront Emily at work. But descending stairs, I froze at the living room. Ryan squatted by a suitcase, packing Emily's clothes like a dutiful house husband. Emily sat on the rug, reading to Lily. Lily giggled at something fun, burrowing into her arms. Yesterday, she guiltily promised compensation. Today, she boldly brought them home. The warm, stinging scene made me feel utterly out of place. Noticing my steps, Emily spotted me first, smiling as she came up. Awake? Don't be mad. Yesterday was my fault. I know I messed up. Look, I got up early to fix your garden, even made your favorite steamed buns. Come try. But mid-sentence, she saw the agreement. Before asking, a scream from Ryan in the living room. Emily dropped everything, rushing down, concerned. Ryan, what happened? But Ryan first shot me a provocative glance, then held up a white shirt, feigning embarrassment. Sorry, Miss. Carter saw this wrinkle, tried ironing it, but burned it. Fancy fabric. Must be expensive. I'll pay you back. He faked pulling out his phone for transfer. But from upstairs, I saw clear, slow as a turtle, and he opened dial pad, not payment. Such lame acting, yet business elite Emily didn't see through, pressing his phone down, relieved. No need. It's just a shirt. Glad you didn't burn yourself. She tossed the ruined shirt in the trash without a look. I stood rooted, fists clenched, rage boiling. Emily must have forgotten. That shirt was my first internship paycheck gift to her pre-wedding. She wore it for our license and ceremony. I teased her, a billionaire CEO, clinging to one shirt. What would people say? But she solemnly stored it. Best gift ever, lifelong keepsake, never lose. Now, 5 years married, she trashed it herself. Her promises? Dirt cheap. Composing myself, I went down, pointing at Ryan and Lily. So, why are they here? Cooking breakfast, packing your intimates. That's secretary duty now. Emily blinked, but Ryan jumped in. Sorry for intruding, sir. Ms. Carter has a sudden business trip. I rushed to pack. No one watched the kid, so I brought her. Unlike you with nannies and help, I do everything myself. Hope you understand. Emily's eyes filled with pity. I caught it, used to it, but it still stung like needles. Not wanting to watch their soap opera, I headed to the bedroom when footsteps followed. Alex, did you know Lily's Emily's daughter all along? Ryan dropped his mild act, smug. I glanced back. Emily on a call by the window, not looking. No wonder his boldness. Ignoring his taunt, I handed the agreement. Here. He mistook it for bribery. Alex, money won't buy me off. I'll never leave Emily. Seeing his determination, I pointed to divorce. Perfect. You're better at getting her signature, right? Only then did he see. Divorce papers? Stunned. You're divorcing Emily? I nodded. I don't want a disloyal partner. Husband title or Carter assets. I don't care. He paused, then sneered. Appreciate you stepping aside, but sorry. To be safe, I'll act. Before I reacted, a loud splash behind. Lily, who'd been playing in the living room, now flailed in the backyard pool, faking drowning. Ryan yelled, help! Save my kid. Emily, hearing, dropped her phone, rushed, and jumped in. 30 seconds later, she surfaced with choking Lily. Ryan lunged, hugging her, wailing, Lily, you okay? Daddy can't lose you. But from afar, his overacting amused me. For safety, the pool was only 3 feet deep with handrails. Lily could stand and touch bottom, no drowning risk. But she coughed dramatically, pointing at me. It was him. That bad uncle pushed me. Daddy, I'm scared. Let's leave. I'm too young. I don't want to die. Seeing Lily's terror, Emily inhaled deeply, turning to me, eyes blazing. Alex, how could you be so vicious, hurting a 5-year-old? I shook my head frantically. I didn't. I was in the bedroom. But she didn't believe. Lily's only 5. Kids don't lie. Alex, I spoiled you too much, making you reckless and dishonest. Go to the basement and reflect. I stared incredulously. She trusted a kid's word without checking. Knowing my claustrophobia, she still locked me in the dark basement. Accusing me of lying. She was the liar. Chill rose in me. I closed my eyes, a tear falling. Emily didn't glance, waving for bodyguards to take me, then carried Lily to the hospital. I was locked in the basement 3 days. No food, water, lights off, fear vines strangling me, breathless. Day 3, light snapped on, blinding. In blur, Emily's anxious face. She scooped up weak me, guilty. Sorry, Alex. I was on a trip, forgot to tell them to release you. I found it laughable. Before, she'd call constantly on trips. Now, 3 days away, she forgot me entirely, locked and starved. My eyes stung, but too weak for tears. Panicking, she drove me to the hospital. Hold on, Alex. 10 minutes to the ER. In her arms, smelling her familiar jasmine, my heart was dead. Emily, I'll never wait again. Next, consciousness failed. I blacked out. Waking, hospital antiseptic hit. Emily slumped by my bed, dark circles heavy. Seeing me stir, she grabbed my hand, trembling. Alex, sorry, my fault. I shouldn't have locked and starved you 3 days. Punish me, however, as long as you forgive. Her red eyes stirred nothing in me. That darkness of fear and despair wasn't erasable with sorry. My cold gaze panicked her more. Next half day, she hovered, feeding water, wiping hands, eyes pleading. Until afternoon, her phone rang. Answering, I heard Ryan's sobs. Ms. Carter, I quit. Let me go, Lily, and I just want peace. Hearing them leave, Emily forgot I was there, standing urgently. What happened? Don't cry. Who's bullying you? Stammering, Ms. Carter, Lily's in a coma from a car accident. The driver was. Your husband's bodyguard. Don't fight with him. He'll kill us if he knows I called. The more he said, the darker Emily's face. She hung, whirled, grabbed my throat hard, gentleness gone to rage. Alex, Lily's just 5. Why keep hurting her? Because you lost your kid. Everyone else should too. I struggled free after ages, heart sinking. Emily, is that who I am to you? She opened her mouth, but phone buzzed. Ryan's message. One glance, face uglier. She dragged me out. Lily's O negative. Hospital's low. You're O negative. Come donate. Her tone brooked no argument, like I was a blood bag, not a fresh from death patient. No chance to refuse. She hauled me to phlebotomy. As nurse drew, red blood tubing out, I chilled. Emily flashed reluctance, but said coldly, this is the cost of harming others. Remember, next time, it won't be just blood. I smiled, too tired to argue. Got it. No next time anyway. As blood drained, my weak body faltered, breaths like glass shards. But seeing my visa approved on phone, my resolve to leave strengthened. 5 days up, visa ready. Soon, I'd escape Emily forever. Post-draw, I staggered. Emily tried helping, I dodged. Face sour, she sighed. Alex, I know you're mad, but it's for your good. Head back to your room. I'll check surgery. Ryan's my employee, and this is your fault. I should handle it. I said nothing. Just watch her hurry to the OR. About to leave, Ryan appeared, handing a folder. What you wanted? Inside. Divorce agreement, Emily's signature bold. Yeah. I turned, skipped my room, cab to Visa Center. Visa in hand, home to pack for abroad. In study grabbing stuff, glimpsed Emily's open computer, air notarization. Father's column, Ryan Brooks. I glanced flatly, looked away. Packed, left a signed divorce copy on the obvious coffee table. Final look at this one's home, I dragged my suitcase out, hailed a cab, named the airport. Plane lifting, watching the shrinking city, peace filled me. The wife who loved me dearly, the woman I'd given my all to, left in the past. From now on, vast distances, Emily and I never meet again. Meanwhile, Emily sat on the OR bench, recalling Alex's pale draw earlier, wondering how he was. She checked her phone for his messages. Nothing. Ryan, seeing her jealousy flashed. He casually said, Emily, why does he keep hurting Lily? Does he know she's yours? Emily's brow jumped, voice rising. Impossible. Frowning at Ryan. I said I'd give you and Lily everything, including Carter Air Spot, but never exposed to Alex, or you know the consequences. Ryan nodded, aggrieved. I'd never. But he keeps targeting Lily. I'm scared. Emily rubbed her temples, annoyed by Alex's recent actions. Pausing. Once discharged, I'll send him abroad to settle. That ease your mind. Ryan nodded. He'd given Alex the signed divorce, but worried Alex might regret, beg Emily with years of emotion to retract. So he'd push her to send him away. Or light off. Doctor emerged, unmasking. Timely arrival. Surgery success. No crash sequelae. Emily exhaled, heading to Alex's room. But Ryan tugged her shirt, pitiful. Emily, after major surgery, Lily'll want both parents. Could you stay? Seeing Lily's pale face pushed out, blaming Alex, guilt surged. She nodded, skipped Alex, followed to Lily's room. Mommy, you're here. Emily entered. Lily jumped from bed into her arms. But Emily instinctively pushed away, glancing back guiltily. Confirming no Alex, she relaxed, crouched, patted Lily's head. Good girl, outside, call Aunt Emily, okay? Seeing Emily's fear of discovery, Ryan's eyes flashed displeasure, then signaled Lily. Lily got it, clung crying. Mommy, do I embarrass you? You don't want me? I don't want to be momless. Ryan sensibly pulled her. Lily, Aunt Emily has reasons. Ignore classmates mocking your no-mom care. Don't trouble her. Their act stirred Emily's guilt. She sighed, interrupting. Kid's innocent. No need to be harsh. My fault. Hugging Lily to bed, she peeled an orange. Be good. Mom stays today. Call me anything. Yay. Thanks, Mommy. After, under Ryan's cues, Lily stuck to Emily, eating, sleeping. Emily, guilty for missing Lily's growth, now compensated. But oddly, panic gnawed, like losing something vital. She thought of better than Alex. Such a loner-fearing guy, post-draw recovery alone, while his wife ignored him for another's play family. Was she too heartless? Emily didn't notice she'd been in the bathroom an hour, lip bitten bloody. Finally, sighing, she opened her long pin contact. Alex, how are you? Minutes passed, no reply. Frowning, she sent more? Mad? Alex, be reasonable. You aired first. This is for your good. Learn, don't repeat. Starved 3 days and drew blood. Want anything? Tell me. I'll send. Emily felt this was max concession, but no response. Irritated, she called to demand. Unanswered. Auto hang, stunned at screen. Did he block her? Never thought soft-tempered Alex, always glued to her, instant replier, would rage so. But he was wrong. What right to block her? Inhaling, she sent final. Alex, how long this tantrum? Years at home, pampered, spoiled you. Stopped your family card. Reflect on being a proper husband. Sent, she powered off. Let him taste blocking. Done. She returned late to Lily's room. Mommy, where were you so long? I missed you. Thought I was too bratty. You ditched me. Lily pounced. Nothing. Bathroom call for work. Emily lied instinctively, but forgot Ryan, her secretary. New schedule's best, saw the lie. He glanced at opposite ward, Alex's floor. Did she see Alex? Face ashen. He'd predicted Alex regretting divorce soon, crying to Emily for mercy with history. But not this fast. Yesterday vowing no unclean wife. Today calling for pity. Whiles vanish long, lie about work. Snapping back, eyeing darkening sky. Yeah, Emily. Rain soon. Forecast. Rare storm with thunder. Lily's always alone, terrified of storms, scared earlier. As a dad, please, stay with her today. But usually guilty, compliant Emily fell silent. Window lightning flashed. She thought of Alex. Yeah, he feared thunder too. But 4 years ago, similar storm, he braved shaking fear, 2 umbrellas to her office, worried she'd forget hers, catch cold. She'd never forget that rainy day. Alex trembling, forcing a smile, delivering. Such a guy. Would he really push Lily, higher hits? Really send him abroad? Emily grew agitated. Maybe it was unease, guilt, or a sense of duty. Emily now had only one thought in her mind. She had to go see Alex. Snapping back to the present, she looked at Lily's big, blinking eyes and then turned to Ryan, a flash of reluctance in her eyes. Sorry, something came up. Emily strode out of the ward, navigating between floors until she finally reached the door of Alex's room. She took a deep breath and pushed the door open. But just as her hand touched the doorknob of the hospital room, a nurse came rushing up hurriedly and grabbed her arm. Are you the mother of the child hospitalized on the 3rd floor? The child is now in critical condition with severe burns and is currently undergoing surgery. You need to go see her right away. Lily had suffered severe burns. She had only been gone for a short while. What could have happened in the room? Emily glanced back at Alex's room, whispered a quiet sorry, and then hurried to the operating room in the adjacent building. Ryan, how is Lily doing? But Ryan looked at Emily, who had arrived late, and put on a dejected expression. Emily, where did you go? You suddenly left without saying a word, and Lily thought you were angry with her. She wanted to make you some tea as an apology. But since you weren't there, she got scared by the thunder, her hand shook, and she ended up burning herself with the hot water from the kettle. Emily clearly hadn't expected so many things to happen in the short time she was away, and she felt a wave of remorse. You want to see Alex, right? Ryan forced a bitter smile, putting on a look of disappointment. I knew it. In your heart, Lily and I will always be the shameful secrets that can't see the light of day. If that's the case, Ms. Carter, you might as well let our father-daughter pair go. From now on, you can continue your loving life with Alex. Ryan's self-deprecating demeanor only made Emily feel even more guilty. Ryan, you know that's not what I meant. I just had some things I needed to clarify with Alex. I really didn't intend to abandon you and Lily. You and Lily are an important part of my life. As she spoke, Emily handed Ryan a bank card as a form of compensation. After a moment, the light in the operating room finally went out. As soon as the doctor came out, Emily rushed forward and asked, Doctor, how is Lily's condition? The doctor nodded and said, Fortunately, it happened in the hospital, so the rescue was timely. There won't be any scars left. However, since it's the height of summer, you need to be diligent about changing the bandages promptly and taking good care of her. Emily finally breathed a sigh of relief, and her sense of guilt lessened a bit. She then took Ryan and Lily's hands, apologizing repeatedly while bustling about attending to them. Time passed quickly, and 2 days went by in a flash. It wasn't until a break during one of Lily's bandage changes that Emily remembered Alex was still in the hospital, and she wondered how he was doing. The thought of the cold look he had given her before she left made her heart panic. After thinking it over, Emily still went to find Ryan. Ryan, I plan to go check on Alex's condition this afternoon. As soon as she said this, Ryan's hands, which were folding Lily's blanket, suddenly trembled, and a venomous look flashed in his eyes. But he quickly put on an understanding expression and nodded. Sure, go ahead. Alex is your husband. After all, it's only right for you to go see him. Emily's face lit up with joy. Really? Ryan, I knew you would understand me. After all, you've always been so considerate. I'll be back soon. I won't miss Lily's medication time. With that, Emily turned and left the room. But as she walked away, she didn't notice the chilling intent in Ryan's eyes. In the flower shop near the hospital, after having someone buy some supplements to aid recovery, Emily also specially picked out a bouquet of baby's breath. She remembered that this was Alex's favorite flower. Although it looked a bit cheap, its vitality was extraordinarily strong, just like Alex, revealing a resilient toughness in his bones. Looking at the flowers, Emily couldn't help but smile warmly. With this, Alex should forgive me, right? Over the past few days, Alex hadn't sent her any messages or made any calls. Although this had made her interactions with Ryan and Lily smoother, the more he ignored her, the more panicked she became. Snapping back to reality, Emily picked up the flowers and had just stepped out of the flower shop when the phone in her pocket suddenly rang. Could it be Alex calling? Emily immediately pulled out her phone. But the screen showed not Alex's number, but Ryan's. A flash of disappointment crossed Emily's eyes. As soon as she answered, Lily's urgent cries came through from the other end. Help, Mommy! Bad uncle! Bad uncle is trying to hurt me! Along with that, there were coughs so intense they seemed to rattle her bones, twisting Emily's heart into a knot. Lily, what's wrong? Who is trying to hurt you? Emily asked, and then Ryan's tearful voice came through, stammering, It's Alex. He found out that you've been taking care of Lily and me these past few days instead of him. So he harbored hatred. He pretended to bring food to apologize to Lily, but actually added peanuts to it. Something she's allergic to. Upon hearing this, the string of reason in Emily's mind completely snapped. She had thought that after a few days, Alex would have regained his senses and learned his lesson, no longer targeting Ryan and Lily. She had also wanted to use this opportunity to give him a way out. After all, they had been together for so many years, and she was truly reluctant to send him abroad. But she never expected Alex to be malicious to this extent, feeding an allergen to a child who was already injured and recovering. Did he hate that child so much that he wanted Lily to join his unborn child in death? Snapping back, Emily took a deep breath and said coldly, Don't worry, I will definitely take charge for Lily and give you two an explanation. With that, Emily hung up the phone and threw the bouquet and the supplements into the nearest trash can. Now, this vicious, despicable Alex was no longer worthy of her sincerity. She was going to demand an explanation from him. All the way back to the ward, Emily was calculating how to punish Alex to make him truly learn his lesson and stop attacking Ryan and Lily. Or perhaps she should just send him abroad to struggle, so he could experience the hardships of Ryan and Lily's life. After constructing her plan for a long time, she finally arrived at Alex's hospital room door. The next moment, Emily pushed open the door, but the room was empty. The bed sheets were folded neatly, and sunlight streamed through the window onto the floor, devoid of any human presence. A bad thought suddenly surfaced in Emily's heart. Nurse! Emily panicked instantly. She grabbed a passing nurse, her voice trembling. Where is the patient from this room? The nurse looked at Emily strangely and said dismissively, That patient was discharged days ago. What are you to him? How do you come to visit without asking first? Seeing Emily's bewildered look, the nurse glanced suspiciously a few times before frowning and leaving. But Emily stumbled back a step, her heart feeling like it was being squeezed by a hand. Alex was discharged days ago. That meant he left shortly after the blood draw. Was Alex angry with her? Suddenly, Emily recalled the cold look in Alex's eyes after the blood draw, and all her rationality collapsed in an instant, leaving only endless panic. She rushed out of the hospital like a madwoman while frantically dialing Alex's number. Beep, no answer. It was always unanswered. She drove home like a madwoman, running more than 10 red lights along the way. The villa was pitch black, like a monster with a gaping mouth waiting to devour people, making Emily hesitate to approach. She suddenly remembered that when she used to come home late from social events, the living room lights in the villa were always on for her. When she entered the house, Alex would immediately sit up from the sofa, his sleepy expression instantly lighting up with joy as he said warmly and considerately, Emily, you're back. He would go to the kitchen to heat up the dinner the chef had prepared long ago, excitedly share the day's events with her, and gently comfort her about the difficulties she encountered at work. Since when did all of this become a bubble? Emily remembered the day Lily fell into the water. Alex shook his head in panic, saying it wasn't him, but she didn't even listen and locked him in confinement for 3 days, starving him for 3 days as well. She remembered again in the hospital room, when she accused him of repeatedly hurting Lily, and he asked with disappointment, In your heart, is that who I am to you? Emily suddenly felt unable to summon any strength in her body. Her heart felt hollowed out, and the panic had turned into boundless emptiness. Alex, she called out, her mouth dry, fantasizing that Alex might just be asleep, that he didn't turn on the lights in the living room because he didn't know she would be back. Alex! Emily turned on the living room lights, and upon seeing the empty, lifeless house, boom, the last shred of luck was completely shattered. Alex had left her. Alex didn't want her anymore. She didn't believe it and searched frantically through the house. The walk-in closet, the study, every corner was searched, but she found that more than half of his belongings were missing. The beige windbreaker he often wore was gone. His favorite gaming console on the computer desk had vanished, and even the books he had marked on the bookshelf were missing without a trace. Finally, Emily's gaze landed on the coffee table in the living room. There lay a document, its white cover glaringly piercing. Emily walked over to look. The words divorce agreement burned like a hot iron, turning her vision black. Trembling, she opened it and saw her own bold signature. What did she sign? She recalled the day on the stairs when Alex was holding the papers. Like grasping a clue, Emily summoned the butler. "Give me the villa surveillance from 3 days ago." The butler, thinking she already knew about Lily's pool self-stunt, said, "Ms. Carter, it's ready." The USB played the events in the garden. Emily watched as Ryan provoked Alex. "Alex, did you know Lily's Emily's daughter?" Alex flatly handed over the divorce papers. "You're better at getting her signature, right?" He also said, "I don't want a disloyal partner." At this point, it felt like a blow to the head. Alex had known about Lily being her daughter for a long time. She suddenly remembered that day in the car when Alex had suddenly asked if she remembered her wedding vows. He had looked at her and said, "You swore you'd never lie to me, or you'd end up alone and miserable." It turned out that from that moment, he had known she was deceiving him and had already planned to leave her. Emily's heart collapsed, and she was about to tell the butler to stop playing the surveillance. But in the next second, she saw Lily jump into the pool herself without hesitation. Her eyes widened in shock. The butler timely added, "When you locked Mr. Harper in confinement, I discovered this footage and tried to call you, but the call was hung up by Ryan right after connecting." Emily recalled the hurt look in his eyes that day when she confined him. Her heart trembled. If the pool incident was a frame-up, what about the car accident? She immediately called her assistant. "Look into the specific details of Lily's car accident for me." The assistant agreed, and soon the investigated information was sent over. As Emily read it, her hands couldn't help but tremble. The car accident was also fake. Everything was fake. Yet she had indiscriminately confined Alex, starving him for 3 days, and then, when he was weak, forced him to donate blood, claiming it was all for his own good. No wonder Alex was so disappointed in her. No wonder he chose to leave. It was she who had hurt him time and time again. Emily's face turned pale, and the next second, she received a call from Ryan. "Emily, haven't you finished seeing him yet? Lily woke up and is making a fuss wanting to see you. I know I shouldn't disturb you at this time, but Lily just had a major accident and surgery. I'm afraid if she keeps fussing, her body won't hold up." Hearing this, Emily found it laughable and asked coldly, "Ryan, did Lily really get into a car accident?" On the other end, Ryan's heart skipped a beat upon hearing this question. Could it be that Alex had said something to Emily? He forced himself to stay calm and said, "Emily, is he unwilling to live abroad? So he told you the car accident was fake? You're Lily's mom. You should know her best. How could a 5-year-old child lie? Don't be deceived by his words." Emily's heart grew cold. For the first time, she realized that Ryan was such a man full of lies and capable of inverting right and wrong. She couldn't help but recall her past with Ryan. That day, she had gotten drunk at a business dinner and mistakenly took Ryan, the hotel bellhop who opened a room for her, as Alex, leading to a night of chaos. Afterward, knowing Alex had a cleanliness fetish in relationships, she regretted it immensely and gave Ryan a large sum of money, demanding he keep the matter buried forever. Ryan agreed and soon left the city. She thought everything was over, and things between her and Alex were still as perfect as before. Unexpectedly, 2 months later, she discovered she was pregnant again. The doctor told her that because she had already had an abortion before, if she aborted this child again, her chances of getting pregnant in the future would be extremely low, and it was not recommended. Upon hearing that she might never have children again, she was stunned. She still wanted to have a child with Alex in the future. Subconsciously, she imagined what would happen if Alex found out she couldn't have kids anymore and chose to divorce her out of disdain. The more she thought, the more agitated she became. She told Ryan she'd give him an answer in a couple of days and went home. After returning home, she thought of how happy Alex had been when she was pregnant before, and she fell into a dilemma about whether to confess. But then she remembered the doctor's words. If she aborted again, she would basically have no chance of pregnancy. She didn't want to lose Alex. In that instant, she made a decision. She wouldn't let Alex lose the chance to be a father. She had to keep this child. So she told Alex she had to go on a business trip abroad for half a year and asked him to take care of himself during that time. In reality, she was hiding abroad to prepare for the birth and gave birth to Lily. If she truly became infertile later, she could let Alex adopt this child directly. She originally thought things would develop as she planned. After Ryan gave birth, she would take the child to Alex to raise. But when she saw Ryan holding their child, perhaps because of the maternal glow emanating from him, she suddenly couldn't bear to take the child away from Ryan. She left the child with Ryan and promised him everything he wanted, including giving his child the position of heir to Carter Enterprises. But there was one condition. He could never expose himself and the child to Alex. Ryan agreed and had always done well. So she naturally thought Ryan had always been an honest man, forced into being a hidden single dad because of her drunken mistake that night. Out of guilt, she took the initiative to make Ryan her secretary and tried her best to give Lily companionship. She thought as long as she concealed it well enough, Alex would never find out. But she never expected Ryan's ambitions to grow day by day. He used her guilt and Lily's existence to gradually erode her relationship with Alex. And she, like a fool, had handed him the knife herself, allowing him to hurt Alex. Thinking of this, Emily suppressed the anger in her heart and asked coldly, "You say the car accident is Alex deceiving me. What about the divorce agreement? Was that also Alex threatening you to help get my signature?" Ryan then realized Emily already had the divorce agreement and saw how ridiculous his earlier words were. He hurriedly said, "Emily, I can explain all of this." Emily didn't give Ryan any chance to explain. She hung up the phone and sent a message to her assistant. "Notify HR to fire Ryan. Take Lily away from Ryan. Also, check recent air, land, and sea travel records to find any trace of Mr. Harper." After giving these instructions, Emily completely collapsed. In just a short hour, she had experienced great sorrow and great anger, and her mind had already reached its limit. On the other side, after receiving the dismissal notice from HR, Ryan finally realized things were going badly. He persistently dialed Emily's phone, but no one answered. Undeterred, he called the company's executives, those who had flattered him excessively after he parachuted in as Emily's male secretary. He didn't believe they would dare not answer his calls. But the phones rang and rang, always met with the mechanical female voice. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is currently on another call." Ryan was completely panicked, pacing anxiously in the ward. Lily saw this and held out an apple. "Daddy, eat the apple." But as she reached out, Ryan slapped the apple to the ground. "Eat what? It's all because of you. You can't even win over your mom's heart. Now she's abandoned us, and you can look forward to living on the streets." Lily immediately burst into loud cries. "Lily will be good. We'll listen to Daddy, and we'll fake being sick well. Daddy and Mommy, don't abandon Lily." Ryan was about to say something when the ward door was suddenly pushed open. Emily's assistant walked in and sneered. "So this is how you teach your child, Mr. Ryan." Seeing the assistant, Ryan's eyes initially flashed with hope, but hearing her tone, his expression stiffened. The assistant couldn't be bothered with him and waved her hand, signaling the bodyguards to take Lily away. Ryan panicked and immediately shielded Lily, threatening, "No way, I won't allow it. Don't pretend to be acting on Ms. Carter's orders. She loves me so much. How could she bear to separate me from my child?" The next moment, Ryan seemed to think of something and sneered disdainfully. You're sent by that man, Alex. I knew he regretted it. Alex, come out. You have no child of your own, so why steal mine? I'll tell Ms. Carter, and once she knows, she won't let you off." Just as Ryan finished speaking, footsteps sounded from outside the room. "Is that so?" The next moment, Emily walked in with a grim face, her high heels clicking step by step into the room. Seeing Emily's figure, the bodyguards who had been about to act all stopped their movements and consciously stepped aside. At this sight, Ryan's face immediately lit up with joy, becoming even more convinced of his judgment. It seemed Alex really had sent people to steal his child and meddle. As always, if he played the victim, Emily would rage as before. Once Alex was sent abroad, their divorce would likely be finalized, and he could fully marry into wealth. Thinking this, a gleam of triumph flashed in Ryan's eyes. He immediately put on a tear-streaked, pitiful expression and threw himself into Emily's arms, sobbing, "Emily, you're finally here. If you had come any later, Alex, he would have taken my child and separated Lily and me." As he spoke, Ryan secretly glared at Lily, signaling her to quickly join in the act. Lily immediately understood and bit the bodyguard holding her hand, then ran all the way to hide behind Emily. "Mommy, I'm so scared. The bad uncle sent bad people to catch me again. Mommy, I'm still young. I don't want to die. Can you help Lily chase away that scary bad uncle?" Emily watched the father-daughter duo's coordinated performance, but she felt none of her usual anger. Instead, she just let out a cold laugh. From a surveillance she had seen earlier, she still couldn't believe it all. She had even held onto a sliver of hope that the video was fake, edited somehow, that they were still the understanding and gentle father-daughter pair in her mind. But standing outside the room just now, witnessing everything, she had to accept the truth. She had wronged Alex. From beginning to end, the ones at fault were Ryan and Lily, and herself. Such clumsy acting, such childish lies. How'd she not seen through it before? Why hadn't she firmly believed in the husband who had walked with her through life, instead choosing to believe Ryan, with whom she had only one night of folly? The more Ryan and Lily played up their pity, the more irritated Emily became. She hated her own blindness. But in Ryan and Lily's eyes, her restrained fury seemed like anger toward Alex. So they amplified their performance even more. Especially Lily, who precisely hit Emily's sore spot. "Mommy, you don't know how scary that bad uncle is. Full of lies, twisting right and wrong. Let's get rid of him. Chase that bad uncle away." Before Lily could finish, Emily's slap landed. "What did you just call Alex?" She went to the gym for an hour every day without fail to maintain her figure. This slap sent Lily's small body flying like a discarded plastic bottle, smashing straight into the wall. "Mommy, wah. Daddy, Mommy is bullying me." Lily was just a child, after all. After being slapped by Emily, she immediately covered her face and cried loudly. In the past, if Lily got even a mosquito bite, Emily would rush over in distress, asking about her well-being and applying expensive creams worth thousands to relieve the itch. But now, seeing Lily with a bloody mouth and a swollen right cheek, Emily just stood there with her hands in her pockets, watching coldly from the side, showing no sign of guilt or heartache. It was only at this moment that Ryan sensed something was wrong with Emily. Could she still have lingering feelings for Alex? Thinking this, Ryan's face became even uglier. He couldn't understand it. He was younger than Alex, had even given Emily a daughter to carry on the family line, and had done so much to smear Alex. Yet Emily still cared so much about him in her heart. He was jealous. He hated it. But Ryan was, after all, a high-level manipulator. Sensing Emily's thoughts, he immediately changed his tune and backhanded Lily with a slap as well. "Who told you to talk nonsense and insult people like that? He is Ms. Carter's rightful husband. I taught you to be polite. Is this how you remember it?" Lily cried, even louder. But after being glared at fiercely by Ryan, no matter how aggrieved she felt, she could only force back her tears and nod. "Sorry, Mommy. Daddy." Lily knows she was wrong. Ryan nodded in satisfaction, then approached Emily, pretending to be the good guy. "Ms. Carter, it's all my fault. I didn't teach her properly." But without a legitimate status, she couldn't attend a proper school and ended up running her mouth. Upon hearing this, Emily sneered. "So you're saying it's my fault, right? Emily, Before Ryan could explain, Emily raised her hand to interrupt him, staring straight at him coldly. "Ryan, I'm asking you one last time. The pool push, the car hit, and the food allergy before, was it all Alex's doing?" Being stared at so intently by Emily, Ryan felt a chill for a moment. In his memory, this was the first time Emily had been so cold to him. It even carried a tone of scrutiny and interrogation. Could Alex have said something to Emily, making her old feelings resurface and unwilling to accept the reality, so she hesitated to act? Well, he didn't mind being the final straw that broke Alex. Thinking this, Ryan nodded firmly. "Although it's not good to badmouth Mr. Harper behind his back, but I swear on my name as a father, these were all his acts of revenge against me. It's absolutely true." Seeing Ryan's solemn vow, Emily suddenly felt exhausted. She hadn't expected to be deceived by this father-daughter pair for a full 5 years. 5 years ago, she had a drunken one-night stand with Ryan, and out of a sense of responsibility, she had been supporting the father-daughter pair ever since. Even after meeting Alex, she had tried her best to speak up for them. Emily thought she had done enough to have a clear conscience, trying to balance both sides as much as possible. But it turned out she was the clown. She had believed the lies of Ryan and Lily, and with her own hands, pushed away the man who loved her the most. Now that things had come to this, she had to find a way to atone and beg for Alex's forgiveness. Snapping back, Emily took a deep breath and nodded to the bodyguards nearby. "Do it." The next moment, under the astonished gazes of Ryan and Lily, the bodyguards quickly pinned them to the ground. "Emily, what? What are you doing? The one who harmed Lily is clearly Alex." Seeing Ryan still lying, Emily sneered and directly tossed her phone to the ground. On the screen was the surveillance video of Ryan taunting and threatening Alex. Just one glance, and the color drained from Ryan's face, leaving him deathly pale. "Ms. Carter, let me explain. I was just..." But Emily had no more patience and directly ordered the bodyguards to forcibly separate Ryan and Lily. "Ryan, I've already given you a chance. I've had people redo Lily's procedures and documents. From now on, whether by blood or law, you're no longer Lily's biological father." Upon hearing this, Ryan rushed forward to block them. But as an ordinary person, how could he match several strong bodyguards? He could only watch helplessly as they took Lily away. As Lily's heart-wrenching cries gradually faded, Ryan despaired and slumped to the ground. He knew that Emily taking the child meant he had been completely abandoned. Desperately, Ryan switched directions, squeezing out a few tears as he looked at Lily. Lily, are you abandoning Daddy too? Have you forgotten how Daddy has taken care of you all this time? Ryan knew that after his actions were exposed, Emily could no longer have any goodwill or guilt toward him. But Lily was different. Emily had already aborted once, and whether she could get pregnant again was unknown. It was precisely because she feared not being able to give Alex a child that Lily existed. Lily was now his only connection to Emily. As long as Lily was willing to plead for him, even if marrying into wealth was shattered, Emily would probably, for Lily's sake, arrange a new job for him or give him money as hush money to make him leave. But in the next moment, Lily's words plunged Ryan into an icy abyss. Mr. Ryan, are we very close? Hearing Lily call him Mr., Ryan's eyes widened in disbelief. You're calling me Mister? I'm your biological father. I worked so hard to raise you to this point, and you won't acknowledge me as your dad. Perhaps Ryan never imagined that his 5-year-old daughter, who had been influenced by him since childhood, had already learned his ways of dealing with the world, even surpassing him. Seeing that Ryan, this burden, would drag her down, Lily directly dropped a bombshell. Mommy, Mister. Ryan is a bad person. He even stole Uncle Alex's wedding ring before, had someone make a cheap copy using inferior materials, and gave the fake back to Uncle Alex. He's still wearing the real one right now. As soon as these words came out, Ryan was stunned in place. He never thought his own daughter, only 5 years old, would betray him to please Emily by revealing his dark secrets. With no time to think, Ryan immediately explained to Emily, "No, Ms. Carter, don't listen to the child's nonsense. That's Mr. Harper's belonging. How would an ordinary person like me dare to touch it?" But Emily clearly wouldn't believe a single word Ryan said anymore. With one phone call, she sent appraisal experts rushing to Ryan's home. Ms. Carter, I stake my 20 years of reputation on this. This wedding ring is the real one. The master you commissioned back then has long retired, and his ingenuity and design are something no craftsman can imitate. As the expert's appraisal result came down, Emily's last shred of pity for Ryan was completely exhausted. Taking without asking is theft. In the name of Carter Enterprises, no industry, no company shall hire Ryan, or they will be an enemy to us. Ryan, I swear on the Carter name, if anything happens to Alex abroad, even the slightest, you'll wish for death, 100-fold repayment. With that, Emily turned and left with her people without looking back. Ryan's face turned deathly pale. He had schemed for 5 years, endured for 5 years, thinking he could finally marry into wealth and enjoy endless luxury. But in the end, he was left betrayed by everyone, in a fate worse than death. After a long while, when Ryan lifted his head again, his eyes surged with hatred toward Emily. On Emily's side, after leaving Ryan's home, she immediately used all of Carter's connections to investigate Alex's flight information. Upon finding out he had flown to Germany, she booked the earliest flight that very night, taking Lily with her without hesitation, and flew to Germany. She wanted to bring Lily to personally apologize to Alex and let him become a father again. Meanwhile, in Germany, I had already started my new life. My father had his own company here, and upon hearing that I was finally determined to focus on my career, he arranged for me to join his branch, starting from the most basic design work. I thought that after years away from work, it would take a long time to readjust. Plus, dealing with colleagues would inevitably involve office politics. But as it turned out, I was overthinking it. In just 3 days, I had proficiently mastered my job responsibilities and submitted 4 excellent creative design drafts. The maturity and innovation of the drafts amazed even the veteran employees who had been with the company for 10 years, and they called me a genius. It was only at this moment that I understood why, years ago, my father had been willing to have a falling out with me to ensure I kept my career and didn't become a house husband. What I had lost wasn't just a job. It was countless opportunities and my dazzling talent. If I hadn't chosen to give up my career back then, with my talent, I might have already established my own company and built my own business empire. I wouldn't have needed to revolve around Emily every day, worrying if today's meals suited her taste, when she would come home, or she was flirting with other men. Snapping back to reality, I shook my head, casting aside these distracting thoughts. The past couldn't be changed, but at least I could seize the present and gradually reclaim my talent and my life. I thought that from now on, I would have no more entanglements with Emily. But as it turned out, I thought too simply. By the time they arrived downstairs at Alex's company, the sky had already darkened and blonde Germans were streaming out of the building one after another. Alex stood out among them. Alex. Hearing the familiar voice, I subconsciously looked up and saw Emily, whom I thought I would never see again in this lifetime. She had lost a lot of weight. Her once fitted coat now hung loosely on her. She was holding Lily's hand, who had a face full of reluctance, and was smiling as she waved at me from afar. I took a deep breath and walked over. Emily, why are you here? She stepped forward to take my hand, but I quickly shook it off. Her face paled instantly. I have something to say to you. Can we find a place to talk? I looked at her coldly. There's nothing to talk about between us. If you have something to say, Ms. Carter, say it here. It was quitting time, and people were coming and going in front of the company building. Although passers-by couldn't understand their language, there were still onlookers stopping to watch the spectacle. Emily scanned the surroundings. Words of apology were hard to say, but when she met Alex's impassive eyes, her heart skipped a beat. The way Alex looked at her was like looking at a stranger. The warmth and love from before were gone, leaving only a dispassionate indifference without much temperature. She suddenly had a premonition that she might really not be able to win Alex back. Emily took a deep breath. Alex, I'm sorry. I didn't know Ryan was that kind of person. I've already fired him, and Ms. Carter, get to the point. I don't have much time to spare for you. Emily's face grew even paler. Alex, I'm sorry. I hid the other man and child from you, and I forced you to abort our child. But there were reasons. My body has issues. If I aborted again, the risks would be high. I didn't want you to face the possibility of being childless, so I planned to take the child from Ryan after birth and give it to you to raise. But after the child was born, I couldn't bear to separate the kid from her biological father. But Alex, I know I was wrong now. I brought Lily here so she can recognize you as her dad. Didn't you want a child? Lily is my compensation to you. From now on, we could be a family of 3 and live well together, okay? As she spoke, she pushed Lily in front of me. Lily, quick, call him Daddy. He's not my daddy. Lily glared at me and suddenly lunged forward, pushing me with all her might. Caught off guard, I was shoved to the ground. Emily hurried forward to help me up, but I pushed her hand away. I supported myself on the ground and stood up, laughing as I looked at Emily. So, forcing me to abort our child was for my own good? You want me to raise your illegitimate daughter and think we can continue living happily? Emily, you're so delusional. Before we married, I told you clearly, I won't accept any betrayal or deception. If you couldn't do it, we divorce. Now the divorce is done, so you'd better stop entangling me. After saying that, I turned and left without looking back. Behind me, Emily shouted, Alex, I really know I was wrong. I'll make it up to you. In the following days, Emily really started trying to make amends. She would send fresh flowers to me every day, buy gifts, and have them delivered to the company front desk to be brought up to me, and order delicious lunches for the entire company, just so I could have a taste. To me, this was nothing but annoying. In my eyes, Emily was already labeled as the past, but now she kept popping up, seeking attention and disrupting my life with what she thought was compensation and happiness. I couldn't tolerate Emily turning my life into chaos again, so I instructed the front desk, from now on, refuse anything sent by Emily. If it couldn't be refused, give it all to the homeless. For the next few days, my work and life returned to peace. I thought Emily had finally given up after realizing the difficulty, and I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. But soon, I realized that sigh of relief had come too early. That day, even before lunchtime arrived, a unique aroma of Chinese stir-fry wafted up from downstairs. Since coming to Germany, my father had been busy managing the company, and I had been occupied adapting to the new environment and work, so we hadn't had time to cook. Usually, during lunch breaks, I just go to a nearby place to buy a burger and fries to fill up. After eating the same thing too many times, I inevitably lost my appetite, and I complained to my father about it a few times. He said that once things weren't so busy in a while, he'd find time to bring me some Chinese food. I didn't expect my father's actions to be so quick. As soon as lunch break arrived, I hurried downstairs, eager to taste the food first. But what appeared before me wasn't my father. It was the 2 figures I least wanted to see, Emily and Lily. As soon as she saw me, Emily forced a smile and waved at me from a distance. My face immediately darkened. Why are you here? I told you before, I still have to work. If you continue to disrupt my life like this, I'll have no choice but to call the police and have them escort you out. Seeing that I was about to turn and leave, Emily quickly grabbed my arm and then instructed Lily to open the insulated box containing the food. As soon as it was opened, a burst of aroma hit my nose. Inside was my former favorite dish, beef potato stew. Emily had even thoughtfully remembered my tastes, adding plenty of cilantro for flavor. The potatoes were stewed soft and tender, and the beef melted in the mouth. Alex, I don't mean anything else. I just saw you eating that junk food every day and worried your body couldn't take it. So Lily and I cooked this meal for you. Once you finish eating, Lily and I will leave immediately. We absolutely won't disturb your work. Emily's attitude was extremely humble. Who could imagine that a billionaire CEO would travel abroad just to cook a meal for a man? Beside her, Lily's small hands were also covered in several bandages, probably from accidentally cutting herself while prepping potatoes, and she seemed much more well-behaved. In the company, many colleagues had smelled the food aroma and gathered around, looking envious. Wow. Alex, I didn't expect your charm to be so great that someone would specially deliver a meal to you. Alex, is this your wife and daughter? Your family of 3 looks so happy. Yeah, she's such a little sweetheart, even helping to cook for her dad. So filial. If it were me, I'd eat every bit, not wasting a single grain of rice. Hearing the colleagues' cheers, Emily and Lily exchanged a glance, their eyes full of unconcealed joy. Lily even took the initiative to play the obedient daughter, scooping up a piece of beef with a small spoon and try to feed me. Uncle Alex, I was wrong before. You must be hungry from work. Let Lily feed you. Beside her, Emily also looked at me with anticipation, seemingly hoping very much that I would open my mouth and eat it. But looking at Emily and Lily's faces, I had already lost every bit of appetite. One was an accomplice in framing me, a little brat. The other was a distrusting abuser who had hurt me repeatedly while protecting her cheating partner. What right do they have to crowd in front of my company and shamelessly pretend to be my wife and daughter? Snapping back, under Emily and Lily's expectant gazes, I took the insulated box. Emily immediately breathed a sigh of relief and smiled with relief. Alex, it's great that you come around. But before she could finish in the next moment, I sneered coldly and directly threw the insulated box into the nearby trash can. Alex, what are you doing? Isn't this your favorite dish? Is there something wrong with the food? Or do you want something else? I'll go buy it for you right now. Emily clearly hadn't expected this reaction from me and immediately panicked like a child who had done something wrong. But looking at her hypocritical appearance, I just reminded her, Emily, have you forgotten? On the night you forced me to give up our child, you made beef potato stew for me. Upon hearing this, Lily looked at Emily with confusion, while Emily's face had already drained of color. Emily then remembered that 5 years ago, she had done the same. Carrying the beef potato stew she had made herself, she had asked Alex with a guilty face to give up their child, shattering his hopes of becoming a father. From that day on, Alex had never eaten beef potato stew again, nor even a single bite of beef. Even just smelling beef would remind him of that night he lost his child. All the aromas would turn into the smell of hospital disinfectant and a faint bloody scent. Such an important thing. How could she have forgotten? For a moment, Emily didn't know where to start explaining. She could only lower her head and keep apologizing. Alex, it's all my fault. I'm the one who deserves to die. I didn't consider your feelings and forgot about those unhappy past events. I just beg you not to stay so silent. Even if you curse me a few times, please. As she spoke, Emily grabbed my hand and kept slapping it against her own face. But no matter how harshly she cursed or how much she hit, what use was it? The child I lost wouldn't come back to life, and the abuse I suffered wouldn't disappear into thin air. A mistake was a mistake. She had the freedom to apologize, and I had the right not to forgive. Snapping back, I coldly pulled my hand away and said without mercy, Emily, stop pretending to be affectionate here. You killed our child. You killed the Alex who just wanted to be a homemaker. I won't go back with you, and I won't accept this child. Emily guiltily swallowed and struggled one last time. Alex, I know. If you don't want to accept Lily as your daughter, that's fine. She's grown up now anyway, and can serve as my blood donor. We can have another child. I'll find the best hospital and the best doctors to ensure I give birth to your child without any risks, fulfilling your wish to be a father. You can have anything you want. Oh, right? Didn't you want to have your own career and build your own world? Even if it means taking the shares in my hands and becoming the CEO of Carter Enterprises, that's fine. Alex, I just want you to know that I really know I was wrong, but I truly love you. I can't live without you. We've been together for so many years. I can't leave you anymore. As she spoke, Emily seemed afraid I wouldn't believe her and quickly pulled out a share transfer agreement from her bag, stuffing the paper and pen into my hands. But looking at that cold share transfer agreement, I felt no sense of satisfaction. What good would becoming the CEO of Carter Enterprises do? In the past, the love and promises Emily gave me had burst like bubbles within 5 years. Now she was promising me a career in the company. Who could guarantee she wouldn't regret it one day? When I was young, I didn't understand why my father had abandoned my mother, who was a wealthy heiress and praised by everyone as a good woman, to come to Germany alone and struggle, spending years of his youth just to build his own business. But now, after experiencing all this, I understood. True happiness is never given or bestowed by others. It's earned through one's own hands. Snapping back, I took a deep breath and directly tore the share transfer agreement in my hands to shreds. No need. Emily, we're already divorced. From now on, we go our separate ways and never meet again. But Emily stared blankly at the shredded agreement on the ground and suddenly broke down, threatening, "No, Alex, I don't agree. That divorce agreement was tricked out of me by Ryan. I had no idea it was a divorce agreement. How could I possibly divorce you for him?" Seeing Emily's hysterical appearance, I felt no fluctuation and just found her childish. I turned to head back to the company. Before I had taken 2 steps, Emily suddenly grabbed my arm, her eyes bloodshot. "Alex, no matter what, I won't allow you to leave me. If you insist on staying here, then I can only use all of Carter's connections and resources to target you and the company you're in, blacklisting you across the entire industry. If you don't want to implicate those innocent colleagues of yours, come back home with me now. I can pretend nothing happened, and we can start over." Looking at the madness in Emily's eyes, I realized she was serious. I slapped her in anger. "Emily, you're despicable and shameless. This only makes me hate you more and look down on you even more." But Emily seemed completely indifferent. "You can hit me or curse me however you want. As long as I don't lose you, I'm willing to pay in." My job after marriage to become a homemaker was my father. Back then, she had even knelt in front of my dad and sworn on her lifetime and the Carter family's reputation that she would give me happiness for life, never betray me, and never let me suffer the slightest grievance. But facts proved that she hadn't fulfilled a single one of her promises. But now that things had come to this, she had no other choice. Snapping back, Emily clenched her fists and gritted her teeth. "Dad, I know this is all my fault, but as long as Alex is willing to forgive me, I can let your company directly acquire Carter Enterprises. But if you insist on opposing, then I can only do everything in my power." I was furious and about to curse her, but my father stopped me, looking straight at Emily without any concern. "Carter girl, do you think the current Carter Enterprises is still the same as before? Ever since you got entangled with that Ryan guy, your company has already planted the seeds of disaster. Instead of spouting threats here against my company and my son, I advise you to find a lawyer sooner and go back home to see how to mitigate your penalties." Emily was confused. What does this have to do with Ryan? Carter Enterprises is clearly thriving. But before she could finish, Emily's phone suddenly rang. As soon as she answered, it was the legal department. "It's bad, miss. Carter, the projects you assigned to Ryan before have all been investigated by regulators for cutting corners. Not only are there fines from above, but those clients are also suing for losses from project delays and shutdowns. Hurry back home." Hearing what legal said, Emily was stunned in place, unable to believe this fact. She had just made one mistake, a mistake that women all over the world might make. Why had she suddenly lost everything? Seeing Emily standing there in a daze, beginning to doubt life, my father wasn't surprised at all. He snorted coldly, then took me and left the place. After that, Emily never came to the company to find me again, probably because of the company crisis and the sky-high compensations from the lawsuits. She was overwhelmed. As for Lily, because her visa had expired, she was directly deported back home, and I finally had a stretch of quiet days. Every day, I follow my father, learning design skills and business experience, progressing rapidly. In less than 3 months, I fully adapted to the rhythm here, achieved my own successes, and secured design invitations from several international top luxury brands. Through this, I not only successfully shed the label of nepotism, but also got promoted in one fell swoop. My father approved me to establish my own design team to hone my management abilities. Even without a wife or child, my life was still full and enriching every day. I thought the days would continue like this, but I still underestimated Emily's degree of persistent entanglement. Since I had long blocked Emily, she simply called the company phone nonstop 24 hours a day, severely disrupting the company's normal operations. The assistant called me on the internal line, looking helpless. "Emily is calling the company line, saying she must speak with you. If you don't take it, she'll keep calling and even hire trolls to keep it up." I rubbed my temples helplessly, patch it through. After the busy tone, I soon heard Emily's voice. Her speech was slurred from the alcohol. Clearly, she had drunk a lot. "Alex, I really love you. Every day you're gone, I miss you so much. How could you be so heartless as to abandon me and run to Germany? If there's any misunderstanding, we can talk it out, right? I chased you all the way to Germany, but you didn't give me a single kind look. I'm a living person too. I get hurt and sad. I've tried so hard to apologize. Why can't you forgive me? Alex, I was wrong. Can we start over? Give me another chance. I increasingly felt that my earlier sigh of relief had come too soon. Pressing my brow, I suppressed the urge to hang up and endured until Emily finally finished her rambling. Then I replied very coldly, Emily, you're drunk. If there's nothing important, I'm hanging up. There was a silence on the other end before she finally said, Alex, my company can't hold on anymore. I might have to go in. Then, as if venting, Emily told me about her experiences after returning home during this time. That's when I learned that after I left, to get revenge on Ryan, Emily had reclaimed almost everything she had given him and held him accountable for his reckless actions at the company, cutting corners that led to project issues. Ryan couldn't accept returning to his old, difficult life, nor could he bear the billions in sky-high compensation. After pleading with Emily multiple times to no avail, Ryan ultimately chose to go down fighting. Not only did he publicly report Carter Enterprises for tax evasion and expose all the accounts from his time in office, but he also posted videos revealing many intimate evidences with Emily. And this was precisely what Emily cared about most. Her image as a devoted wife wasn't just circulating in social circles. Online, a large number of netizens praised her as the most worthy woman to marry. It was also because of this that her Carter Enterprises products were imbued with the aura of true love. Even though the quality was average and the designs weren't outstanding, they steadily held the top market position. Now, with the backlash from public opinion, her reputation was on the brink. Many competitors swarmed in, spending heavily on smear campaigns to seize market share while the iron was hot. The netizens who felt deceived also called on relevant departments to thoroughly investigate the corrupt elements. Emily was summoned and forced to undergo investigation. In the worst case, she would end up broke, the Carter family's generations-old foundation destroyed in her hands, disgraced, and losing her freedom. But I had no interest in the dog-eat-dog drama between Emily and Ryan. After listening, I asked very indifferently, So, what does this have to do with me? Does Ms. Carter have anything else to say? If not, I'm hanging up. I have a meeting with employees soon. I don't have time to listen to your complaints. Emily's breathing hitched, and a tear slid down her cheek. She hadn't expected that after pouring out so much, Alex would still be so cold. She didn't expect him to say a word of concern, but even if he blamed her, she could convince herself that he still had her in his heart. But he was calm to the point where it seemed like none of this had anything to do with him, as if she were just an entangling stranger. Emily felt the pain had separated her soul from her body. She forced herself to speak. Nothing. Alex. No, mister. Harper, you've really changed a lot. Before Emily could finish, I hung up directly. In the following days, everything returned to the previous calm routine. After leading the project team to successfully complete several S-plus projects, I quickly gained recognition from my colleagues in the German branch and firmly established myself here. When my father called me, his tone was full of gratification. It seems I can retire soon and hand over the CEO position at the head office to you. I replied shamelessly, Indeed. Both my father and I burst into laughter. After laughing, my father suddenly asked, Did you know that Emily has passed away? Naturally, I didn't know. Then, from my father's mouth, I learned everything that happened to Emily afterward. After undergoing investigation by the relevant departments, although no illegal activities were found, the public opinion crisis still existed, and Carter stocks continued to plummet day by day. For the company's future development, the Carter board members united to boycott Emily and pulled her down from the CEO position. Having lost her lover and her career, she drank every day. While speeding on a mountain road, she drove straight off a cliff, perishing along with the car. As for Lily, after Emily's death, she was sent back to Ryan by the Carter relatives. Ryan saw Lily as a burden and unhesitatingly abandoned her at an orphanage before disappearing without a trace. After hearing this, I could only sigh. If Emily hadn't betrayed me, she certainly wouldn't have met this end. We would have had our own child, cooked together, gone shopping together, traveled together. But now, everything had become mere ifs. After hanging up my father's call, I looked out the window at the clouds being gently blown away by the wind and couldn't help thinking, tomorrow will probably be another sunny day.